Hello YouTube, and how are you all doing? I hope you're doing fantastically fabulous. And today we are back with our Dancing with Demons series to talk about various subjects. Specifically, from my notes, understanding the rankings. Okay, so a lot of what we've talked about is this concept of how manifestation works, how entities work, developing relationships. I mean, this is all basics, right? Like, it's basics that you should all know. A witch worth any of their salt knows that you have to make appropriate relationships with whatever it is that you work with, regardless of what it is. Whether it's a demon, an angel, a unicorn, a fart from your wife's ass, whatever the it is, you have to make a relationship with it when you're working with it in witchcraft, okay? Relationships in witchcraft are vital and important. And if you aren't able to create and sustain said relationships, then I can't see you getting very far. Now, obviously, you can, manifest your own energy, put things out to the universe and let the universe handle it. Lots of witches don't work with spirits. Lots of witches don't work with demons. Lots of witches don't work with angels. Lots of witches don't work with anything. Okay? But if you are working with, say, Hecate, Morrigan, demons, angels, God, whatever it is that you work with, and you're not forming the appropriate relationships with them and sustaining those relationships, then you're going to quickly find out that they're not going to really want to help you. Okay? So when we talk about understanding the ranks when it comes to demons, what we need to understand is that just like with Greek gods or goddesses, like with any type of god or goddess, there is a hierarchy. There is a relationship with other gods and goddesses. There's a relationship with other spirits, so on and so forth. When it comes to demons, there are different types. There are 7 ranks of spirits, one for each planet except that of Mars. Several spirits focus on the materialistic. Their sigils should never be carved on anything that contains iron. Okay. Why that is, I don't know. I kind of want to go with the Supernatural TV show explanation of why you would never use iron to carve their sigils. The particular text that I had read didn't really go in depth. I'm assuming it's something similar to like sage, where it's offensive. It's offensive. The 7 ranks are king, which is for the sun, and its element is gold. A duke, the planet is Venus, and its element is copper. Prince, or whatever, I can't even read that. Welcome to my writing. The planet of Jupiter, and its element is tin. A marquise, moon, with the element of silver. A president, Mercury, with the element of, can you figure it out? It's named after the planet, Mercury. A count or earl, Venus, or the moon, copper and silver. A knight is Saturn, and its element is lead. Each rank can be worked with to gain the common things: wealth, education, love, domination, and so on. But at the same time, you have to also realize that demons aren't just a one-trick pony. It's not that you're either going to get love from one demon or you're going to get money from another demon. While that is their speciality, you also realize that they have legions of spirits that they essentially hand the task down to. Boone, for instance, isn't going to go out and get me a job, or Clonic isn't going to go out and get me a job. They're going to send their legions out to find something that I can take advantage of. Because when it comes to demons, as I had stated in previous videos, it really is about taking advantage of a situation that will play in your favor. They can teach and educate and make a man a king, or make more elegant or more sophisticated, each with each with and in association with the planets that they're associated with. Now, in ceremonial magic, time of day, planetary alignment, time of month, time of year, time of everything is extremely important. But when it comes to my craft and the way that I communicate and work with them, a lot of them, unless it specifically states that they're a daytime-based demon, they love to be worked with at night. I do try and keep up with the position that you should face when contacting them. If I don't have the appropriate colored candles, white is perfect for everything. It can be any color you want it to be. I don't carve their sigils into their element that they require or anything like that. I usually will either print out their sigil, draw it on a candle, or whatever the case may be. The rituals to conjure, contact, and communicate with these demons are very elaborate when you think about it in a ceremonial-based fashion, and they don't have to be. They can be if you want that kind of control and power over them, because at the end of the day, you're basically putting the fear of God into them and telling them, if you don't do this, you're in big trouble. And you're trying to act like you're bigger and stronger and more important than them. The way that I approach it is that we're on the same level, okay? We're on the same page, we're on the same level. I want this from you and you want this from me. Let's make a trade. The rank of a spirit talks of its personality and power, and the ability the way they teach and or aid otherwise create within your sphere. Okay, so demons, all of them have different personalities. It's like working with any spirit, it's like working with any god or goddess, it's like working with anything. I don't give a what it is you work with. You could work with dog for all I care, and it has its own personality. You know, everything that you work with in witchcraft has its own personality. The Morrigan's personality in your relationship with Morrigan is going to be different than the Morrigan's personality in my relationship with her. Just like any demon that you work with, depending on how you contact them, depending on how you treat them, depending on how you ask of them the things that you want to ask of them, their personality is going to be different because they're just like us. We react differently to every type of situation. Now, you might say, well, that doesn't speak to personality. Personality is the same no matter what the situation is. Not really. Not at all. I don't know what drugs you're on, but not at all! Kings, they are the boss. They rule over all other goetic spirits. One should not just call upon a king the way you would any other spirit. They can be intimidating, but they do want to work with you. They behave the way they do because that's how they are designated. Follow the advice on giving those spirits offerings. So if you, and I have contacted a king or two in my time, Ashtaroth, and I believe Belith is a king. These are terrifying, formidable entities. They when they come to you on the astral plane, they fill the entire space that you're in with just themselves. They are immense, powerful beings that demand respect. They demand it, and when they test you, they put you through tons of different trials. For Belith, it was this image of violent self-mutilation because he was essentially trying to scare me. He wanted to see if I could stand up to him and stand up to his entities and, stand in the same lane, if you will, with him. Now, a lot of people would shy away from that. They would be terrified. They would falter in their conjurations of Belith if they were presented with something similar to that. And that's where it leads into the whole, okay, well, you can't handle me, so he could either get really pissed off and start fucking with you, or he could just leave. In my particular case, I did have to take a step back, and he was laughing hilariously, but when I did go back and continue the working, he realized that, okay, I see how this is. And the tests continued for the rest of the night, but, you know, he did come the second time that I requested upon him for a particular spell that I was doing. And when he did come for that particular spell, there were no tests involved. There was just this, when we were walking to the graveyard, there was just this immense amount of spirits. I felt like he was me and not me. It was like if you went into something like Photoshop and you took a picture of yourself standing and you took a bigger picture of yourself standing, so like, you know, where you stretch it out and all that stuff, and then you place it over top and turn down the opacity. That's how it felt. It felt like he was there, he was in me, he was around me, and his legions were all around, circled around, and we were walking. It was something that was incredibly scary and incredibly terrifying, but at the same time, you felt this level of confidence, this level of arrogance kind of go through you. Dukes are frequently and are friendly and understand the desires and passions of the magicians, and their manifestations are done via a degree of passion. They speak with a poetic voice and words. Princes, and I think it's prelates. It's like princes or prelates. I don't really know what a prelate is. Maybe it's a princess. I don't know. Amazing business partners and teachers of arts and sciences. The Jupiterian aspects. They also will help you understand what is going on at where you are at work. I had to read that. So essentially, when you're working with a prince, you want to work with them for business-based relations. But again, keep in mind that just because it says, you know, just because, for example, a herb says it can only be used for money doesn't mean it can't be used for other things. It's all about what your intentions are. When it comes to spirits and demons, specifically with demons, just because they say, you know, they're amazing business partners and teachers of arts and sciences of the Jupiterian aspect doesn't mean that they don't have other things to offer. Communicate with them. Ask them, hey, would you be able to help me in this situation? I know it's not something that you're a part of, but, you know, and chances are they will find a way to help you. Marquise. Speaking through dreams and poetry, they have a mercurial edge about them. Their magic is more defensive in nature. It manifests passively, defensively, and proactively. They are good to work with to avoid a crisis, not clean one up. So if you reach out to a demon who is considered to be a marquis, you know, and you're in the middle of a messy situation, they're not really going to be of any help to you. You want to go to a marquis before you find yourself anywhere near that messy situation, because they will help you avoid it. Presidents, quick with the speed of Mercury, intelligent and analytical, speedy solutions in the form of serendipitous information or opportunity. When working with said spirits, one must state they want to be made known of the solution as not to be thrown or surprised. That's the thing with working with presidential demons. The issue is that they will go off, they will do their thing, and all of a sudden, boom, it's right in front of your face. And you're like, dude, what the f***? You could have given me a warning. So when you're working with presidents, you really want to tell them that, hey, I need you to alert me before this thing shows up in my face that it's happening. And they'll do it. Counts and earls. These are foot soldiers. They get down and dirty when given manifestations. That is, their solutions are blunt and to the point. Rather than sowing strife or causing drama between two people, they cause manslaughter. They don't mess around with nuancy or, you know, anything else. They don't around. If you want to call upon a count or a duke to curse somebody, you need to be damn well careful, because they don't around. This isn't something like where you can just mess around with Cindy Lou Who because she's a fake bitch and you want to throw shit at her and, you know, prove to her that she's not a real witch in any measure at all. Because dukes and counts and earls, what they will do is they will basically go in and be like, okay, you slit your wrist, put a gun in your mouth, bolt brains out. Like, they don't care. They are direct and to the point. If you tell them, do X or I want Y to die, that will potentially happen in one way or another. Working with counts and earls, and I believe dukes, no, not dukes because we just went over dukes, but working with counts and earls is something you don't do lightly. They will go in, they will accomplish the task, and you may not like the outcome. So if you want to work with them to curse somebody, be specific in how you want that curse to play out. Be very specific, because if you just say, I want Cindy Lou Who to suffer, her whole house could burn down, her family could be killed, she could be left all alone in the streets, and you're like, that's not what I intend. Knights. These are the only spirits associated with Saturn. He is a spirit that is cold and massive. Better for the magician to work with long-term goals. So when you're thinking about knights, if we think about them in the sense of tarot cards, knights are generally the type that rush in. But when you're working with demons, you don't want necessarily to rush something. So let's say that you've landed this new job and you want to be team lead, right? In like 6 months to a year. That is your goal. Or you want to buy a house in 6 months to a year. Knights are the ones you want to work with, because they are the type that will get things done. It will take a little bit more time, but they will get things done. Okay? So that's what I have on this concept of understanding the rankings. And when you understand the rankings, you understand which type of demon might be suitable for your particular situation. Again, just because a demon says it does X, Y, and Z doesn't mean it can't also do A, B, and C. It will tell you if it can't do A, B, and C. And Ashtaroth, for a good example, would point me to specific demons that would help in that particular situation. Okay? So I hope that this video was informative in some way for you, and that you took something out of it. Until next time, my fatless little skivvies.